Hey everybody, it's Tara. Welcome back to my channel. I am waiting actually at my son's therapy right now and thought that this would be an opportune time to give a little insight on what it's like being a special needs mom in my case. I know that for every single person it is different. Every single child is different. There are no two even cases of autism that are the same, and I am not by any means saying that the way that my life is the way that anyone else's is. The things that seem difficult for me may not be difficult for anyone else. But I did want to give a little bit of a picture into what we deal with on a daily basis, give a little bit of a history about our situation, and kind of just go from there. Camden has been special from the beginning. We found out early in my pregnancy that he had what they thought was hydrocephalus, which, if you're not familiar with that, it just is excess fluid on the brain. So I had an ultrasound almost every week from about 16 weeks up until we delivered at 38.5 weeks. The fluid levels, there are 3 different ventricle levels in your brain. The top 2 run along the side and down slightly in the back. The other 2 are towards the middle of your brain. His top 2 ventricles held too much fluid. They did do an ultrasound the day he was born of his soft spot and found that he had the right levels of fluid, but from what they could tell, it wasn't in the right part of his brain. So we waited for him to be close to a year old, and at 8 months we went and we had an MRI done and found that his top ventricles did in fact spread out like this rather than being skinny and arching down. So we also at that time found out that he had a condition called agenesis of the corpus callosum. Basically what that is all the webbing that goes between your brain that's supposed to interlock the 2 halves run in a strip from the front to the back of each hemisphere in the middle of the brain. He does not have the majority of that strip, and what it does is it helps to send messages from the right side of the brain to the left side of the brain and vice versa. It also controls getting the area of the brain called the limbic system, which is your base emotions, your rage, your happiness, your sadness, and I believe excitement is the other one. Stretching it into the frontal lobe where it processes that information and helps you to determine if the way that you're reacting is appropriate. So excessive joy or excessive anger or excessive sadness, whenever it's a minor situation, would be what was controlled by that part of the brain. So since he does not have that part of the brain, we run into a lot of challenges. One of the challenges that we face is that he was diagnosed with autism. There is a varying spectrum of autism, which would take an entire other video in order to explain, but Camden is on the very high functioning end of that spectrum. He is verbal, he is able to learn, he is able to socialize to a point. That is his main point of difficulty. He does have some learning disability because with his condition he has a 4 to 6 year delay. So he is 9.5. Some of his learning abilities in certain subjects are around the age of 3 to 4 years old. Just now is learning to write to a point that we can read what he's actually writing down and it be more than 2 or 3 words at a time. So we have 5 outside therapies a week. He does do speech therapy and occupational therapy while he is at school, but we attend 2 occupational therapy sessions, 2 speech therapy sessions, and 1 physical therapy session every week. And it is a lot. It's a lot. And honestly, it's a little discouraging. He has made tremendous strides toward the goals that they have for him, But there is still so much ground to cover and so much delay, and it's work at home, it's work by his therapist, it's work by his teachers, and it all rests on him, and it's a lot to put on the shoulders of a 9-year-old. But we are making it. This is his 4th year, I believe, doing therapies, and we did take about a 9-month break and came back. We just got to a point that he kind of plateaued, and we weren't seeing the progress that we needed to be seeing, so we took a break for a little while, and he came back and has been doing really well. He does also go to a behavioral counselor once a week, trying to just get him used to talking about his feelings. One of his main problems, and the reason that he does speech, is he has both expressive and receptive speech disorder diagnosis. So basically what that means is he has trouble both understanding speech that is directed towards him, especially if it's more than a 2-step process. Like if you tell him, do this and then do this, and after that go do this, he will not remember past the first 2 things. He also has an even greater inability to express what he's thinking. So to get out what he needs or what he wants without being extremely frustrated is difficult, if not impossible, in a lot of situations. The more upset that he is, or if he doesn't feel well or something like that, it makes the entire situation that much more difficult. We also see a lot of physical delay. He did not potty train until February of this year. He was almost 9 when he potty trained, and we had been trying for 7 years. We started trying around the age of 2. It just didn't happen. And so that, again, is different for everybody. Not everyone sees a potty training delay. Not everyone sees social delays. I mean, it's different person to person, child to child.